Hey, what's going on, guys? So I just got off of a work trip that actually took me for the first time in my life to the West Coast, sunny California. I actually had to go to San Francisco and a little bit of the places around there. So I'd never been before, right? So I was like really psyched. I was like, man, I'm gonna check out the sights. I'm gonna do a little bit of game hunting, kind of see what's going on out there. And I mean, you know, this is exactly what I expected. Of course, it was nothing like that. It was more like me trying to find parking for hours, and the whole city smelled very strongly of weed. But I will say that I found some really, really great places, some really cool spots. Game hunting, I didn't get too lucky till the end as far as like places to go, but I found some stuff that is just really awesome. So without further ado, let's check out some really neat spots you need to hit up if you're ever in the San Fran area. So anytime I go on a work trip like this, I really don't know what to expect as far as like what kind of free time I'm going to have, or if I'm even going to be able to check stuff out. I will say that I do like to do a little bit of research before I go somewhere, just in case I do get time, and I did not do that this time. This trip was very, very spur of the moment. I will say though that I did end up finding some stuff. I was delightfully surprised. So let's check out some of the neat spots that I found while I was over on the West Coast. So the first spot I checked out, I just kind of Googled video game stores near me, and I found this place called Anime Imports and CCG Center. It is a cool place. I will say the thing that's even cooler about this place are the people who run it. Oh my god, they are the nicest. So there was not much in the way of video games, and to be fair to them, this is not really a video game place. It is mostly anime figures, comics, and cards. They have a huge selection of like Magic the Gathering and stuff of that nature. In fact, one of the owners was playing with a guest while I was there. But we just had some great conversations, some really, really fun talks just about classic anime. It was really cool because you don't get to find people that often who not only know what Outlaw Star is, but want to have a conversation about it. So it was really neat talking to these guys, and once more, they actually gave me some kind of insight of cool places to check out because they weren't so big into video games. Obviously, that's what I was hunting for. I will say, though, that I did not leave the store empty-handed. I did end up grabbing a Famicom game, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. But once again, I really did want to shout this place out, Anime Imports and CCG Center. If you happen to be in the San Fran area, I guess this is technically in like Pacifica is the area within the area. This place is really great. The owners are really cool, just really top-notch people, really, really cool guys. So the only thing I got from here is actually a Famicom game for Takeshis Castle, which, if you don't know, is basically what Most Extreme Elimination Challenge that used to be on like Comedy Central is based off of. I will say that I cannot currently play the actual game version of this game because it's all in Japanese, but you can play the mini games, which are actually really fun and very familiar. The only way I can really show you is to film my TV because the Famicom only has coax out. I don't have a good way to record that. But I'll just kind of give you a gist of what I'm talking about. So, yeah, you can kind of see what I'm getting at. This is that game where you have to jump across the stones. And, granted, it's hard to play this with one hand. But, you kind of get what I'm getting at here. I mean, all these are mini games based off of... This is kind of like, what do you call it? Space Invaders. But they're all based off of the show. And if you've seen Most Extreme Elimination Challenge... You know exactly what I'm talking about. Still a pretty neat game. I wish I read Japanese. I could figure out what the heck I'm doing. Although I also wish I could record this better and show with more than playing with one hand. But oh god, that bird's gonna kill me. Anyway, I think you guys get it by now. Okay, this place was effing massive. This is a place called Moeba Records. I did not know what to expect when I came here. I didn't really think video games were really going to be on the menu, but for those of you who may or may not know, I'm actually a big vinyl head. So I definitely wanted to kind of give this place a check out. I will say it is like in downtown San Francisco, so it was not easy at all to find parking to get here. But when I finally did find parking, my God, this place is like the mecca of music. And not only music, they had a huge, huge variety of movies as well, which I'll definitely touch on a little bit later. But I mean, this place, it's really neat, right? So I kind of asked him, like, what was this building? Because it's so big. It's like, what kind of place was this before it was a record store? Apparently, it used to be a bowling alley. So this place was an old bowling alley that they have converted into a record shop. A really well-known record shop, actually, from what I'm told. Me not being from the area, you know, I just saw it and thought it looked neat. But my God, they had so much music here. CDs, records, just everything you could ever want. Then I went over to the kind of back area and they have a bunch of movies and stuff. And that's where I kind of got excited because, you know, not only did they have DVDs, VHS, and Blu-ray, but they did have some video games. Like, and by some, I mean like 20 video games, and they were all like super common. But they had laser discs here. So, you know, I had to get something before I left, and I definitely did. So without further ado, this is what I ended up scooping up from Moeba Records. So I ended up getting only laser discs from the store, but I got some pretty cool ones. I got Sandro. It's actually the Criterion Collection version. Invaders from Mars in color. This was only like a couple bucks, so I had to get Hard to Kill. I mean, come on. Classic Steven Seagal? You know it. And then Hook, which I actually later found out I already owned a laser disc of Hook. But I mean, it was only $2. So, you know, if I ever find someone who, like me, has a Laserdisc player and wants a copy of Hook, I guess I'll just hook them up with it. Hook them up with it. Anyway, that's what I got from the record store. I probably should have got some records, but I can't pass up on Laserdiscs, and I also knew that I had limited space in my bag when it came to bringing stuff back. Now, while I was circling the block like 8 times to try to find parking for Moeba Records, I saw this place called Free Gold Watch, and I just saw like a pinball machine kind of like sticking out from the street level. So I had to see what this place was, and lo and behold, it is like the best little hole-in-the-wall secret I have found since, like, God, I don't even know. I mean, it's hard. It's few and far between do you find cool places like this. But this is obviously a pinball arcade, and my God, it's like deceivingly massive. There is so many machines here. They also have vintage machines, all sorts of stuff. I got to speak with the owner for quite a while. They actually cycle out their pins quite regularly. In fact, weekly. They take some, they'll put them back, maybe do repairs or whatever, and then bring in other ones. Apparently, there's maybe like 4 or 5 owners that actually go through and have their own personal collections, and they cycle them in and out to kind of keep it so it doesn't get boring, you know, keep it fresh. This place originally was a screen print shop, and they still do a lot of t-shirt making, posters. In fact, everything from Moeba Records, shirt-wise, comes from this place. But, you know, one thing you have to ask, why is it called Free Gold Watch? And apparently, when you buy something here, or definitely back in the day, but even now, when you buy something here, they give you a little strip of leather that has a screen-printed gold watch on it. So it's kind of the joke is when you buy something from here, you get a free gold watch with your purchase. I thought that was crazy. I wish I had a picture of it. I didn't actually buy anything from here, but the lady who was in front of me did buy like a hoodie, and that's what started the free gold watch conversation. But they have some really cool stuff here. One thing I thought was really funny was the Congo pinball machine, because that is a great inside joke with my friends and I. But once again, free gold watch right around from Moeba Records if you're in San Fran. This place is dope. So it wasn't till the end of my journey that I finally found an actual dedicated game store, and I found this place called Phoenix Games. It's actually in Concord, which is where I was specifically doing my work, so very convenient for me. But my God, this place was the business. They had such cool stuff, and you know what? I will say that they had fair prices on their items. I mean, but the sheer amount of stuff they had and the knowledge that the sales staff had is crazy. I mean, they have just every console you can think of worth of games. In fact, One thing that really surprised me is they actually had a pretty decent like Virtual Boy collection. One thing they did have that I was very interested in, but I ended up passing on was for the Virtual Boy. I don't know if you know, there is actually a Street Fighter 2 game. It's unofficial, kind of fan made. They made like a very limited amount of them, and because of that, they did have it there, complete in the box and everything. Like I said, fan made, but it was $600, which. Earlier I said the prices are fair. I mean, apparently that is the fair price for that game. It just stings. I'm not going to spend $600 on a Virtual Boy game, especially not one that's like, a fan-made game anyway. At that point, it's like, in my mind, you might as well just buy like a Virtual Boy flash cart and then just download the ROM. But regardless, they had it, and that's cool enough. Around the whole store, they have great vintage posters and signage and even like Nintendo World Champion hats and stuff. None of that, of course, was for sale. Just really cool stuff to look at, though. I actually spent probably too much time here. I ended up talking with a couple of the employees, just kind of shooting the breeze with them, and I'm telling you, next thing you know, I'd been there like 2 hours or something stupid like that. Granted, I didn't stop them from doing any business. I was cognizant of other customers, not trying to be a jerk or anything, but man, they had some great stuff there. There is a downside to my visit here, though, and that is I actually didn't buy any games. I know, right? Like so many games, why didn't I buy anything? It kind of comes down to a couple things. One, when you have a collection like mine, you have a bunch of the stuff that you're looking at. So they had some really great stuff for really good prices that I would have bought, but I already own it. And then, there's a couple items I really liked that I don't have, which are really expensive. A good example would be, that Street Fighter I just talked about. Just out of my price range for a trip like this. Like, I'm not ready to buy a $300 game right now, But the other downside is there were a few, like, cool cases and things that I really liked, really wanted to pick up. But that's the downside of traveling. I didn't have room in my suitcase to bring some of that stuff back. So I ended up not buying anything, which is, like, to me, a bummer. Because when I see a place like this, I really like to, support them, give some money to them locally. At the very least, buy a shirt or a hat, which at the time I was here, they didn't have anything like that, which is kind of a bummer. But they actually ended up giving me something. Yeah, giving me something for free. And it is very, very, very cool. I will show you just in a moment. It's so cool that I had to go home and like frame it. And yeah, so that's very neat. But before I get too much further, they have one more part of the shop that I definitely want to show off to you. And that is a full arcade in the back. They have pinball machines. They have a bunch of really, really good arcade games. Everything you'd want to play with friends. I mean, we're talking Simpsons. We're talking, Street Fighter versus X-Men. I mean, just so many good games. You're going to see me kind of go through them here. Cool thing is they actually kind of do a free play but by the hour kind of model. Rather than go in there and dump a bunch of quarters, it's like you pay like a certain amount of money. I don't know, I don't want to say the wrong number, but it wasn't much. Like I'm saying like $10-15 for like an hour, and you get to go back there for an hour and just do whatever the hell you want, play whatever you want, all on like a free play model, which if you're really like getting your game on, definitely you're coming out on top financially in this case. But I just love that a lot of these places have cool stuff for you to do. They do console repairs here also, and mods too. Like I said, the sales staff, very knowledgeable, very cool dudes. This place was great. When I was here, there was a guy and his 2 kids playing in the arcade. It was awesome to see the arcade getting that kind of use. But on the whole, this is a great, great shop. Phoenix Games, like I said, they're out of Concord. You got to check them out. But first, let's talk about what they gave me. So I feel bad that I didn't buy anything from there, but man, I am glad I walked in. Besides the fact the store is really cool, they actually hooked me up with this freaking vintage poster from the Super Mario Brothers movie. It's kind of hard to tell looking at it here, maybe if I get closer, but it's one of those like 3D posters where it's like there's the blue and the red, so you wear like the classic like 3D blue-red glasses and the whole thing will pop out at you. But I actually asked a friend of mine if they'd ever seen this, and it actually came with a like a weird set with like glasses and everything. But anyway, they gave me this poster for free, so I decided to go ahead and frame it. Gonna put it in the game room. It's really, really dope. I'm glad I did not get out of there empty-handed. Once again, it's kind of hard to get games when you own so many games. It's hard to find something you don't have. So to walk out with anything is cool, and to walk out with something this awesome for free is even cooler. So it was some cool adventures, a little bit of stuff for everybody. If you're big into music, if you're big into movies, if you finally are big into games, there are places for you just like anywhere, but there's some really good highlights there. I hope you check out those places if you happen to be in the area. Hey, if you guys happen to live in the area and like I missed some stuff, I don't know if I'll be going back there for work or not, but if I am, I'd love to hear in the comments below, like if you guys got some spots that I definitely need to check out next time I'm around. But hey, have you guys had any luck game hunting lately? Why don't you throw that down in the comments down below too? I love hearing your guys' stories. That's gonna do it for us today, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, please do. It would be very awesome. But as always, my friends, take it easy.